Hello, this is Summer Art Academy at the Knoxville Museum of Art. My name is Miss Hannah and I will be teaching Draw, Paint, and Sculpt Part 1 for 3 and 4-year-olds. Welcome artists! Again, my name is Miss Hannah and I will be your guide during Draw, Paint, and Sculpt. Throughout this class, we will be using lots of different materials to create different types of art. Today, we will be exploring the art of bookbinding to create our own sketchbooks. We will learn the meanings of the word binding and folio, make a sketchbook, design a book cover, explore Watercolor Resist. Are you ready? Our first project is going to be something called a Watercolor Resist. A lot of you may have been doing watercolor, and you may have even seen this project on our website, but we're going to be doing an extra element. You're going to start off by gathering your supplies. You'll need a piece of aluminum foil from your kitchen, some washable markers, water, a piece of white paper, either a white pastel or a white crayon, and then the paintbrush of your choice. I like to have a variety. First step is we are going to color some circles. They don't have to be perfect, onto our aluminum foil. You can choose to do several different colors, or you can stick with our primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. Because remember, when you mix those colors, they create the secondary colors. But if you want some more variety, then you can have a whole palette of colors. Well, I picked up my blue again. There's purple and orange. And now I'm going to set this out of my way, and it's ready for when we start painting. The next thing I'm going to do is either choose your crayon or your pastel. And sometimes if you want to get creative, you can close your eyes for this part. I like to actually look away from my paper, press down as hard as you can, and you're going to just draw lots of lines, squiggly lines, straight lines, all over that paper. You can look if you want to, but can you see anything? Not really. To reveal what we have drawn, that's where we're going to need our paint. I'm going to dip my brush into the water. Then I'm going to choose a color. I'm going to start with blue. And I'm going to paint over my paper. And as I paint, my drawing is revealed. Add some warm colors in here. Now what's great is if I start running out of color, I can just draw some more onto my palette. Use my wet brush and add it back. as you paint, the drawing is revealed. Now we're going to make a sketchbook using some different tools. This sketchbook is really cool because we can actually add multiple pages to it. So for this project, you're going to need 2 pipe cleaners. I like to use 2 different colors, so I have pink and blue here. You need a 9x12 piece of paper, heavy duty like cardstock or construction paper, and then a larger 12x18 piece of paper of the same material. It can be any color you want. I like to use white so we can add designs to our covers. But whatever you choose to do is your choice. And then you're going to need some either copy paper or other art paper that we'll put inside. All of these papers, I use a 3-hole punch to punch. And my 3-hole punch is a little bit funny, so my holes are different, so I put a little dot letting me know that that's where they have to line up. You're gonna start with your small piece of paper, your 9x12 piece. You're gonna need both pipe cleaners. And you're gonna slide your pipe cleaners through the center hole. So 1, 2, 3, the middle's 2. There's top, middle, bottom. Slide your pipe cleaners through until they're pretty even on each side. You can fix that later. Then you're gonna take one color. I'm gonna start with pink, and I'm gonna put 1 pink through my top hole, making a line or a stitch on one side. I'm going to now take the blue pipe cleaner and do the same thing to the bottom hole. So I have 2 stitches and then 2 lines. And my center hole still has both colors. Next, I'm gonna thread my 12x18 sheet of paper or my big paper through the pipe cleaners. The bottom hole goes to the bottom pipe cleaner. The middle goes over both pipe cleaners. And then my top hole goes over my top, just like so. Now I'm ready to add my paper. And I have a nice stack of paper ready. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Some of you may find it easier to thread 1 sheet of paper at a time, or you might be able to do a stack. So I'm gonna kind of show you both right now. Because let's say I did the first one and it was hard, so I'm just gonna work through a few pieces and then work through a few more pieces. And now that I'm holding it all together, we'll do it again. So to close this book, I'm gonna take my 2 blues and I'm going to touch them together like they're shaking hands. And then they're gonna circle around each other, like so. Then I'm gonna take my 2 pinks and they're gonna shake hands and then circle around each other just like so. And then you get to start using your sketchbook. Now what's really cool about this is, let's say I run out of paper. I can easily untwist my friends and add more paper. Or let's say I made another art project and I want to add that project in, like this one. I can just untwist my book and slide my paper over my pipe cleaners, like so. Remember, shaking hands and twist. Shake hands and twist. Now, I have this really big thing. So what am I gonna do with it? I'm gonna practice folding again. I'm gonna put my hand, one of my hands down on top of my pipe cleaners, and I'm gonna fold just to where my hand is and press and crease. But you'll still see I still have a lot. So now I'm gonna flip my book over and do the same thing. Put my hand down So I know where to go, fold my paper, and I have a flap. So now I have a book that protects the paper. When you're ready, you can do fun things like add details. On the thick paper, I can use paints, watercolors. On the inside, I can use pencils, colored pencils, crayons, markers, a variety of art materials inside. Just do remember that if you are adding details to your books, if you get it wet with watercolor or glue, you want to make sure you let it dry completely before you close it. We've made our sketchbooks and now we are going to design our covers. The cover is the outside of the book. It is the part that protects the pages on the inside. So the cover has a really important job, but that doesn't mean we can't make it beautiful. Now, some people would like to put their name. If you know how to write your letters or you have an adult helper to help you, you can write your name. I'm going to write mine using my white marker. And just like we did earlier, I'm going to paint over it to reveal my name. But you could also choose to write in marker, pencil, crayon, colored pencil, any material you want to. If you have paint, you could even write your name with paint. Another fun way to decorate your cover is to use a stencil. This is a stencil of a butterfly. And again, I could choose, and I'm going to do both, to use my crayon to trace my butterfly. And then I can use other colors to add some details. I can even use my white. And I'm going to do some coloring. And when I'm done, I'm going to paint over my butterfly. So this is one way to use a stencil to add to your cover. Other things we can do is create collage. Collage uses glue and paper. You can cut paper from magazines, from books with adult permission, if you have some old books that you're throwing away, or just colored paper, junk mail. I bet a lot of people have junk mail laying around. You can cut that up or tear it, add glue on the piece, and stick it on your book covers. Now you see that I've prepared a lot of paper here to use for my collage. When I'm working at home, I like to just tear 2 to 3 pieces at a time, glue those pieces first, and then tear more as I need them. So that way I don't have as much of a mess to clean up. But I went ahead and tore a lot of paper because I kind of had an idea what I wanted to do. I think the butterfly from my cover would love to visit this field of flowers. Now I've shown you some ideas of what we can do on our book covers, but now it's your turn to decide what you want to do on yours. You can use whatever colors and whatever materials you have available. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we can do in our sketchbooks. One is that on our thicker covers, we can add a lot of different art materials. On the outside, on this thick paper, you can do something with watercolor. I have an example here. You could do collage, which uses glue and paper. On the inside, this is where you want to use your dry materials, your markers, your crayons, your pastels, colored pencils. You can color, because if you're using copy paper inside, it doesn't hold liquid very well. There's also another small trick. So let's say I decide to glue on the inside of my book. And I glue, and I put a lot of glue. And now I'm going to stick some paper down to make a collage. But I don't cover all of my glue. If I close my book, what's going to happen? It's going to stick. And the same thing goes if I decide to paint inside my book. So make sure if you use anything wet on the inside of your book, you let it fully dry. If you absolutely have to close it, a trick you can use is if you have wax paper in your kitchen, you can lay it on top of your artwork, close your book, and let it dry. When the item's dry, you just remove the wax paper and it keeps your book from sticking together. Thank you for joining me for part 1 of Draw, Paint, and Sculpt. Today we created a sketchbook that we can add pages to and explore different ways to create inside our books. Now you will have the opportunity to add art to your sketchbook on your own. Next time, we will be learning about sculpture using glue and paper. See you then.